Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Dojo Live. I'm Tulio Siragusa, broadcasting from Southern California, and today is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. I'm joined today by Kim Lantis, who is in Hermosillo, Mexico, and Carlos Ponce in Cuernavaca,
Hello,
Mexico.
hello.
And our guest, of course, Pedro Goes, who is broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Pedro. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here.
This is the last show for this week, so let's have fun with it, right? Today, we're talking about how event professionals have been impacted by basically the major changes that have occurred due to the pandemic and everything going virtual. So, but before we go into the topic for today, let's get to know our guest. Pedro, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah, I'm born from a Latino, born in South America. Moved here to the U.S. a couple of years ago, and I fell in love with the idea of like creating software platforms. I've been doing this since my early 20s, and has been a great journey. Personally, I'm an introvert, so if I have to choose between staying home and going outside, like I'll probably stay at home. I like to be a person that's like very like talk to others and everything. So this is myself. I've been doing this for now like 7 years. Yeah, so it has been a great journey so far.
Excellent. Welcome to the show, Pedro. Tell us about in event. What gave birth to this idea? What was like that moment where you're like, I've got an idea I got to bring to the market, and what is it that you guys do?
InEvent is it was born like we did so many things throughout the years, but we decided to build this video first company. Our co-founder Mauricio, he in her early teens, like actually he was 10 or 11 years old. He was fascinated by computer screens, right? And I'm also like I love computers, like to work with them, and we realized that there is no really built platform for live streams that are going to be on events, right? Most of them are mostly for YouTube and like for live streaming simple. And we just wanted to build an event video platform. And that's what we built for, like for event professionals, marketing professionals that want to use a video system that for their events. We built a very, layout platform that you can use for animations and other things. So it's pretty straightforward and it's very popular among event managers in the US and Europe. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get to see what we can learn today and how the space is evolving. We'd love to understand the changes in this space and how it's evolving, what the future looks like. So let's go right into it. Kim, will you kindly introduce the show today?
Sure. Thank you, Tulio, Carlos, and Pedro, of course. Pedro, thank you with your introverted nature, for choosing to talk to us today. Yes, and I guess that gives some insight into your interest in developing virtual event marketplaces, right? Where you can get involved from the comfort of your own home rather than having to travel or be surrounded by crowds of people that you do not know. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's pretty revolutionary and innovative for people like you, or even who don't have the financial ability, right, to travel to an event. So what you chose today is how the virtual marketplace is refitting event professionals, with the virtual event marketplace as a bridge uniting professionals in the event industry. So for those of us who might not know, and maybe I'm getting this wrong myself, what exactly is a virtual marketplace?
Nice. So most of our customers, they're event professionals. They're running events. They're hosting events. They're hosting events for 10 people, sometimes for 10,000 people, and an event's quite a complex project. It's not something that you just come up one day and then you just press one button, everything is good to go. Usually they require multiple things: software platforms, promotion agencies, hardware, gear, location, venue, and all those things. Um, we realized that in our early years that most companies, they were providing everything, like they were full blown agencies that were providing not just the gear but also the software. And we realized that the software on those companies was not good, was not something that was the standards that we see on other industries. So we saw that as an opportunity. Like, why don't we create a software platform that's going to be the best platform for events ever? And that's what we have been working on. So in those past years, our customers, they love InEvent, they love the software, they love the video features, but they said, Pedro, can you extend this a little bit? Do you have partners that are well trained, well versed into the InEvent platform that they could come and already build the event for me? Or do you have gear that's compatible? Like which web cameras or cameras should I use, right? So we decided to create a virtual marketplace, which is a list of all the different providers, can be freelancers, agencies across the globe that can provide services directly to our customers. So this can be, for example, an event in Australia that someone wants to bring like camera gear to record the event live and stream to the InEvent platform. We're going to have a provider, for example, in Australia that could stream this using and producing the event for them. So that's the idea of the marketplace, a global worldwide place for people to provide third-party service to the InEvent platform.
Nice. Are those, I mean, I know it's a little different now. I imagine that you've seen a big upswing with COVID and everything trending virtual.
Yeah.
But does that marketplace include services that go beyond the technical, like tables, chairs, catering, entertainment, or is that coming in the future?
I mean, we support those. If we have a partner that wants to add this, we're able to add this on the platform. We even partner with venues. If you want to advertise, for example, a venue that you have on the platform, you can do that. The main goal that we have is that we don't want to be creating just a platform that's just for InEvent. Our goal with the platform is to create a community where InEvent can be profitable, InEvent can grow, InEvent can generate jobs, but also other companies can, have a very good revenue by being experts on the InEvent platform and providing their services together with InEvent. So we have seen, for example, companies that are providing, for example, day of the event support. So those companies have great knowledge on the platform. They go to travel, they help you prepare, do the design of the event, and the customers love that. So it's a combination of different things that we have.
All right, so I just want to clarify a little bit so I can understand this better. Traditionally, if you're throwing an event, there's a lot of different vendors you have to work with. Those who are setting up lighting, those you have to find the venue, you got to find caterers, all the various elements that make up an event. You got to find someone to promote it. So those have been put into a marketplace. All those vendors have been put into this virtual marketplace that, as an event planner, I now have access to through your platform. Correct? Did we
That's
get that
correct.
right? Okay.
That's correct.
So,
Yes.
what kind of events is it mostly being used? Is it corporate type of events, or is it like promotional concerts kind of thing? And I guess it's also used for in-person and virtual type of events as well. What's the difference in terms of the coordination between a traditional event and a virtual, besides the fact that you don't have a physical venue? Is there any difference in terms of planning, or is it, still quite complex as to why this community comes and brings value?
Yeah, I think one great example of that it's when you think about, for example, a company that has, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 employees, right? Usually their CEO or the chief executive officer or someone at that level, they will address the company on a weekly basis, sometimes every month. And they need to have a solution that they can broadcast to all the employees. But now in the new era that we're living in, not everyone wants to go back to the office to hear them speaking, right? You want to be at home, working from home, and you still want to have a great video experience from this session that you're going to have internal to your company. So what's usually we're seeing from our customers right now, companies that have adopted already the hybrid new world, they're working from home, they have future of work as part of their core values, is that the speakers are going to the venue, right, to the studio that's built inside the company or third-party venue, and they're recording these 4K perfect, pixel perfect live streams and broadcasting worldwide. Because now the employees are no longer in the US, they may be traveling to Europe, they may be traveling to Japan, they may be traveling to so different places, but if they still want to have this great quality on their video software platform. And InEvent allows you to do all the broadcasting, to do all the live streaming, to generate reporting, and also know who attended, who engaged, who didn't answer the polling, who didn't get their credits accredited after the end of the session. So all those things are automatic with the InEvent platform, and it's really great for company trainings, for example.
Pedro, I realize the importance of video and streaming and video streaming and these types of platforms and services, but I'd like to ask you what other technologies have you have envisioned to implement? For example, things like 3D imagery or even augmented reality or any other kind of technology that's going to make the let's call it the matchmaking of the business participants or the participants, I don't know, more dynamic or more enriching. Have you envisioned other technologies beyond or besides the video part, or what are you going in this direction?
I think like video is like this pipeline. I say that our customers, they are creators, they are marketing designers. They're so creative, and they want to be able to design things that are quite unique. I've been going to the movies since I was a kid, and I'm still excited to go watch the next movie, right? And every time it's the same thing. It's like a big screen, only the content changes. And it's the same thing for us. We want to enable our customers to be able to create very unique experiences. So every event that they host through the platform is different in color, in content, in the dynamics, the animations, who is going to speak, and that's what we are striving to do. It's deliver the best unique experience for them. Can be using video, can be using different combinations, can be using mobile apps, but in the end is what you see that really delights you. So next time that
Mhm.
you're going to an event, it's all about creating something quite magnificent for the attendee, that they love this and they're really engaged to maybe work more, get to the next training, or generate more connections, and that's what we're
Hmm.
using most.
Yeah,
So,
and
okay.
also one more thing, one more, Kim. I'm sorry, just real quick. And I'm curious as to what types of verticals you feel that are more receptive to these kinds of options. Because I mean, if you think in terms of brick and mortar type of businesses, might be a little different than technology companies or digital companies. These companies are already on the cloud, on the digital space. So which ones are more receptive, or how do your overall client base reacts to your offering, or where do you struggle or have success the most?
I mean, like we watch these live streams from big companies on like the Super Bowl, for example. That's like $1 million per second. Every time that you stream something. And the thing that we always discuss is how can you deliver those kind of experiences on the day to day of a person, right? Because we go and watch this amazing streaming or amazing TV recording for or TV like experience for on those channels, but then you go and watch someone working from home. It's like web cameras; they have no lighting. It's this crappy experience on the platform. So what we are doing is just moving everything to be TV like experiences all the time. You're working, you're talking to someone you're in the company, someone that's like your boss in a casual conversation. We want to deliver great video experiences across the company throughout the year. So those video experiences for our events is something that's really important. We want to bring those standards internal to the company, not just outside when they have one specific launch event throughout the year.
Great.
Thank you.
So let's try to play with this real life example, because I think what I'm hearing in an event we have something coming up that would be quite perfect for what you do. Here at Encora Mexico, we traditionally have an annual team building week. Of course, COVID has kind of thrown a wrench in the spokes of that one, but we're finally able to come together. And now in October, we're all going to be, well, half of us are going to be headed to Cancun for a
Nice.
team building week. Half of us have elected to do this in person. And the other half, it was voluntary, chose not to participate in person yet. And so this would be a perfect model, I think, for that hybrid event that we're talking about. How could InEvent help facilitate what we want to do, particularly on our team building day, where we all come together, the whole entire company, nobody's working with their clients, and the focus of that day is just to like lay out our mission, get to know each other better, decision making, etc. So is this the perfect case study scenario for you at an event, like to get our people who are working from home with the people at the live event together? And could you even do like breakouts or groups where I know you mentioned something about polling and like decision making? How would this work?
The fun thing is that this is something that could have already been accomplished before the pandemic, but now it's much easier because people are now open to live these experiences. So I tell people, the social part of events is something unique. We're never going to replace. We go in person and we love, the end of the weekend, gathering that we all have together. That's really important, and video is not going to replace that as of right now. But all the content pieces, all the training, all the discussions, that can use video as the main media. And that works really well these days. So if you go to a venue, for example, and you have some people in person, some people online, what they have is so these broadcasts. We have big screens outside of the venue or around the walls, and you can just stream that. And then you have a lot of cameras. So it's streaming, and people connect all through the mobile app. So the same way that I'm here talking to my computer, there may be someone on the venue connecting with their mobile camera on the device, and they're all able to chat throughout the day. So we create group rooms on the platform, and those group rooms can have 10, 15 different people. They can be connected either through the cameras in the venue or with mobile apps, and they all have a discussion together. So the same technology, the same information, it's shared among everyone, but you're connecting from so many different places, and it's like a seamless conversation for all. Yeah.
And cool. And is your model more like, do you have like the one-time events? Is there a subscription? Both?
It's a subscription. It's designed for someone that's really like purchasing the solution for their daily use. It's like you are an event, you are a company that are hosting broadcasts, or you're using webinars, or you're using video on a daily basis, or something weekly that you have, and you have this subscription throughout the year. So that's one of the strong scenarios that we have. We also work a lot with education companies, pharmaceutical companies, financial companies. Tech companies are really, they love the solution because it integrates with all their solutions already, and they can plug and play. So it's pretty nice. Um, and those are some of the customers that we work with on a daily basis. If you're hosting just one event, there is also a marketplace that you can hire one partner for one event only. But usually, the direct customers that we have, they're hosting multiple events throughout the year.
So, Pedro, I'm curious about the competitive advantage a little bit, right? There's a lot of video platforms, collaborative sharing platforms. Some of them have been around for some time. I can't help but ask the question, why didn't people think of doing these hybrid events before the pandemic? It seems like it would just make sense, right? But it's a shame sometimes you have to have something like that to wake people up to say, we have that option to do a hybrid. But I'm curious, how much does the marketplace create the value for the event producers versus the platform itself? What's the draw? Why do people come on board to your platform? Is it to have access to all these things in one place that seamlessly integrate, and they can do purchase orders for this? How does that come into play versus just a traditional, video conferencing or collaborative platform? Tell us a little bit more about the marketplace. How does that come together?
Yeah, so at InEvent, we say that our motto, it's go beyond, like go beyond where you are today. So like platforms like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, all these platforms are great for video. And if you're connecting one-on-one with someone on the sales call, they work really well. But if you want to go beyond, our customers, they see them as limitations, right? The customers come to us and they say, like, I cannot accomplish those things on Zoom today. I cannot accomplish those things on Microsoft Teams today. How can you use those technologies to improve my experience? I can give you a very clear example. You host, for example, a meeting for 300 people, right? Who do you know who attended? For how long? When did they join? When did they leave the session? Do you know specifically how many credits they were accredited in those days? Which polls did they answer? Were they online at specific moment in time? Don't have those reports, for example, on a simple live stream, right? We don't know who joined and what they did throughout the event. So that's just one simple thing that InEvent goes beyond the other platforms that can deliver on the system. And our system, it's an expert design system for many other things also. So the expert event marketer that's using the platform, they see those limitations on the current simple video platforms as something that they want to upgrade to InEvent, and that's where they are successful. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay,
Um,
go ahead, Carlos.
yeah. Uh, when I was looking at the company's website as a whole, and I can see I hadn't even looked at the industries that you serve, which I have quite a few. Financial, pharmaceutical, association, a number of them. So my question to you is, I think it's a little bit elaborating on my previous questions about what sort of spaces are more open or receptive to hosting these types of events. So my question is linked to the technology aspect of your platform. So when you engage with these companies, how do you make sure that you are from the engineering side, you're catering exactly to their requirements or to their anything that they may need in terms of the technology that needs to be in place in order to make this a successful event?
Yes, that's a great question. I think Mauricio would be a better person to answer about all the technical engineering feats that we deliver to the platform. But InEvent has one thing that's really great, which is it's so flexible to take a video from different sources. Most people they use video using like a web camera, like they plug in using the USB on their computers, and that's it, right? That's the most standard way of using video. But those companies that we work with, professional event marketers, they're using different technologies to plug in the video. Sometimes they're using HDMI out from the camera directly to an encoder. Sometimes they have a middle encoder right there before they RTMP out to the system. Sometimes they're using SIP. So they have different technologies that go beyond the traditional consumer solutions, and those need to be delivered on a professional video platform. So we are compatible with all those requirements, so they can plug in like a big studio within event technology and it's plug and play for them. So that's a big differentiation from the traditional consumer software to what is considered like a business software. Yeah.
Thank you, Pedro. Okay, back to you guys.
Kim,
Yeah,
thank you.
I was curious about some of you mentioned the ability of InEvent to collect data, who's watching for how long, if they participated in polls or not, or whatever. What are some of the applications for that you see your users utilizing that data internally? I'm assuming internally, or is this also external to potential clients or networking and things like that? But what are the applications for the data that you're collecting?
So there are two main cases. The first use case that's really interesting is you want to know who is engaged with, like for example, who is engaged with the company training and with the company audience who is participating. So that's an important metric for them to understand. Oh, this is an engaged employee. They're moving forward. So that's really important for them. We also have on our association and government agencies what we call the certification credits. So these are used for them to get a certificate so they can progress in their career. So they must achieve those credits before they move forward. So that's also an important criteria that we have. And finally, we can also use this data for lead generation. So we know, for example, that someone that engaged more with a specific session, they're more interested in a specific topic. You can use this data to target them later using email communication or even just booking a sales call with them to sell one of your products. So all this data can be used for multiple things, different use cases, depending if you're using for internal events or for more sales and marketing.
Great. So, Pedro, there's obviously a lot of choices in terms of what makes the product roadmap, what is mostly needed, and so on and so forth. How do you go about deciding that? Do you have some kind of a user base that helps you with validation, or a user base that gives you requirements as they use it? How do you go about deciphering, which capability and or enhancement to do over the next 6 months to a year? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so we meet with our customers quarterly, and the question that we always ask them is, what's going to make you successful that you can be promoted, right? So what's that thing that's allowing you to grow and where you are from where you want to be? And we get so many different answers. Like some of them is like, I want the platform to be capable of doing this, and that, and or the platform to uh, have the capability of dealing with these issues, or I want the platform to be able to deliver on those KPIs and those metrics. So we use those questions. We use this specific particular question to find the exact information that we need on, and then we put this in a spreadsheet on a system that we have here internally that prioritizes based on customer requests what's the most popular thing, and we develop this on the roadmap and we publish for all our customers.
What an interesting space. I mean, there's always be nice to have this, and then there's the reality that meets the road of what you actually need. So, glad to hear you guys working closely with your user base to get an understanding. So, this marketplace you're creating makes it convenient for event planners to get access to everything, to design an event, to produce an event, to deliver an event, whether it's a in-person, hybrid, virtual. It's one-stop shop for everything for events. And it sounds as though it's expansive. It's not just corporate events, it's educational based. It's also could be used, I suppose, for anything that anyone wants to promote. What's next long term? We're coming up at the end here. What's the end vision that you have in mind in terms of what you're creating here? Where do you see this industry evolving over the next few years as the pandemic ends, for example? In your opinion, where's it going?
Yeah, I think one thing that we're going to see is that working from home is going to be a massive thing. It's going to be something that the best employees, the best professions are going to be requiring this more and more. People are using in-person events for social gatherings mostly, but all the content, all the efficiency, you don't need to travel just to attend a meeting. You could do through video, and you're going to be able to transform those spaces in high quality studios so people can connect no matter where they are. So I think the biggest shift that we're going to see from before the pandemic to after the pandemic is that companies are going to be adopting more and more video technologies for their events, for their communication, and also for their um, daily use. So that's where InEvent fits in, is for providing those companies with a powerful platform that's going to be part of their new day to day. And more companies are going to be adopting this. Some companies are saying going back to in person, but mostly it's going to be a virtual requirement moving forward from a lot of companies. Yeah.
Great. Um, we're almost at the end here. We would be remiss if we didn't ask the question about your company itself. The What makes InEvent a unique place or a fun place or a cool place to go work. Many of our audience members are people that might be looking for the next gig, where they can have something exciting to do. So, tell us a little bit about what makes the company tick. What are some of the values that you look for when hiring folks to join you?
Yeah, so we actually have our values here on the wall. So these are the 10 values of the company. It may be because it's small, but those are 10 values. Every inventor, they have this frame, they carry one once they become an inventor. And our values are mostly focused on improvement, on being like delivering a wow moment to our customers, making something that you really love. And those are things that we work on a daily basis. It's not something that we were born perfect. We're always trying to improve, but always focus on like how can we improve something, move yourself forward, and deliver something that's better and better. And we're really happy that we started from we had no investment in the beginning. Like we started the company out of college, and we have been able to build something that we make customers happy, and that's the thing that we want in the end. Very successful experiences through the platform. Yeah.
I
Very
remember
cool.
before we go, I remember a little anecdote when we were talking about the values that you have on the wall. When I got to the company, I'm talking about Dojo Life's sponsor now Ancora, but before Ancora, it was Nearsoft. So when I got to Nearsoft, what the actual they had a frame on the wall, a picture on the wall, and the third value, the bullet point was uh, to be a source of happiness for its teammates, for its team members. So I was like, that's the first time ever that I see a company have that particular statement on their on their mission. So it became very intriguing, and I hope that in the case of an event, well, it's something similar because you're going to make a lot of people happy not just the users but also your your teammates. So that's what I'm hearing, right? And so yeah, thank you for having been with us today, Pedro. Okay, it was really insightful.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
have
you. It was
we'll have
great.
to keep tabs on your progress and hear some use cases again in a year or so. Have you back. Stay with us as we go off the air in just a minute. Don't forget to join us Monday for the recap show. We're going to recap 3 shows. We have 3 shows this week. We'll recap them in 10 minutes. So if you missed any of the shows, no worries. Join us at 12 o'clock Pacific for the 10-minute recap. We'll talk about the highlights and what we liked about each show. And then, of course, we're going to continue next week with more shows. Carlos, what do we got coming up?
Wow, we got quite a few shows. We got the future of data revolution with Harrison Tang, the CEO of Spokeo, and then after that, we're gonna on the 25th, we'll have Eric Chabil, the founder and CEO of Chair, and the topic is shared home ownership, a faster way to build equity and access home ownership. So that's what we have like confirmed for next week. So I look forward to these conversations. So everyone, join us next week right here on Dojo Live at 12 p.m. Pacific. There's a third, actually. There's a third conversation with Govind Rangasamy, the CEO of Apranix. I think it's an application development platform, low code. So I don't have the topic yet, but it should be as interesting as all of our Dojo Live interviews. That's what we have for next week. We have a full week ahead, so stay with us. And see you then and there, and be safe.
Thank you.